Hey! Aloha, you beautiful mother fathers. Welcome to another episode of the Side Hustle Podcast. YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, X, all the audio stream platforms too. We still pay the bill to Podbean or whatever it is, so it's still going out there.
Yeah, we are.
Appreciate you guys listening, watching. Kyle Cornell, Double A Anthony Alford is always with you. How has your week been?
It's been a week. It's been a week. It's been a day.
We can confirm it's been a week.
It's been a week.
And it has also been a day today.
Oh, jeez.
Did it end in Y?
I don't know. I don't know. I'll tell you, sometimes you have inner demons. Sometimes, it just gets to you sometimes. And
something you need to talk about? Or?
You gotta fight it off and, fight
you
it
gotta
off.
fight the demons.
You have to. You have to. And sometimes, at some point, you'll have to face them. And
in the name of the B and the A and of the sweetie.
Yeah.
We'll fight the demons.
Got to. Might need a
and we have the sloth. He's our secret weapon.
Yes. And this week, the sloth requested for the hood to be down.
Yeah, he's like, I want people to see this face.
He's like, I have to see this.
You will never forget.
Oh, man. I'll tell you. Pretty slow week at WWE.
Yeah, nothing going on.
Nothing happened. So,
nothing at all.
We'll see you next week. No, I'll tell you. It's been a while. When Kyle and I, when we go over what's going to happen on the show, the rundown, and I saw what's going to be in this A block, I just smiled because it's been a while. It's been a while since the Bloodline has been in the A block.
Yeah, holy shit. This is such a great moment that we had to make it our B.A. Sweetie's sweet moment of the week.
Yes.
Because Jacob Fatu is officially in WWE. And we'll get into his track record in a second because it's kind of crazy he got hired in the first place. Just considering his history.
Yeah, there's some concerns about whether or not he'll be able to compete in the next pay-per-view.
Is he going to be able to get to Canada? We'll find out. But, dude.
I mean, just look at this, Kyle. Just look even at this shot. You want to talk about a guy who's the size of Solo, basically.
Yeah.
Who's a high flyer, who can deliver moves with the quickness and cut promos. I don't think you'll hear from me saying, man, where's the charisma from this member of the Bloodline? That will not happen with this guy.
I told you before we started the podcast today that I had heard about Jacob Fatu. I haven't watched a lot of them. I've watched more of Zilla and a couple of the other ones kind of hanging out because they're all over the place. The Samoan Dynasty's stupid. There's so many people out there. But the thing I always heard about him was star. Like, if he gets the opportunity to go to WWE and he joins the Bloodline or whatever it is, he's going to take over. And I saw nothing of the contrary to what we saw on this past Friday. And the fact of who he took out.
I know.
When Solo debuted on Raw, or on the main roster, so to speak, he obviously hit Drew with his little thumb, the spike. Not the champion. Roman was a champion. Drew was the contender. That guy on that table right there, that's the guy who beat Roman.
Yeah.
He annihilated him.
Yeah, he did.
He beat the living shit out of him, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens by himself.
Yeah. And sometimes with the Bloodline, and we'll talk about it a little bit, sometimes with the Bloodline, when you expand members, you talked about the number of Samoans. Sometimes it's hard to stand out. Actually, that was the genesis of Jey Uso, tag team Jey Uso, becoming main event Jey Uso.
Yeah.
The whole premise was I can't tell which one is who.
Mm.
That won't be a problem here.
No.
That will not be a problem.
No.
For those who don't know about Jacob here, for those who don't know, talk to the audience about the kind of promo guy he is.
The intensity is something you just can't. And it's hard to even explain. Just he has it. Some guys we see that show up, and it's not always just the Samoans. There's other people that show up. We're like, oh, he's got it. Like, I think Trick Williams has it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Carmelo Hayes has it. I think Braun Breaker has it.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's some guy, like Cena had it, like Orton had it. Some guys just have that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do they reach that potential? Who knows? We're talking about some good
But
cases,
but you mentioned last week there are certain people, men and women that we
both
know
sides. Yeah.
that when they walk into a room, there could be tens of people in the room, hundreds of people. You know they're there.
It's a presence that you just feel.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have to say a word. Which I told you, he may get the solo treatment for the first little bit here, where they don't let him talk too much. But when he does, I think that's by design too, because they want Solo to be the head of this new.
Yeah.
At least for now.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be tough.
And you got to watch them. Like when they're gonna cut the promo on Friday, you got to just Solo's, like you said. I think Solo's gonna be the one talking, but you're not gonna be able. This is gonna be him the whole promo. The entire promo.
It's also Double A walking on the treadmill in the gym.
Man. Did I tell you?
No, you didn't.
My knee, when I was at the gym yesterday, my knee, like right underneath the kneecap, it felt like somebody was pressing on my kneecap.
You haven't done a lot of walking and running.
I need to do more of that.
So do this. Little fitness tip for everybody in this as well. If you're looking to try and help alleviate knee pain, take it from me, who's had the surgery and the bad knees. Walk backwards on the treadmill.
I might need to do that.
It strengthens different muscles in there.
But like,
so
I don't want to do that in public though.
Oh, it's fine. Do it all the time in Planet Fitness.
Yeah.
Who cares? Don't walk like at like 5 miles an hour backwards, but
they're gonna think. I know it's adult judgment free, but they're gonna think I'm showing off. If I, do you think they won't care about that?
no one gives a fuck.
Okay.
No. To be blunt,
I will do that next time. I will do that.
You're totally.
It was weird, man.
It strengthens all your front muscles and stuff too. It helps alleviate some of that pressure on the knee, especially for someone who doesn't have extensive knee problems, and you're looking just to strengthen them a little bit. That and believe it or not, wall sets help a lot. You should know about that, Mr. Trek. They suck, but listen, dude. I went to my basketball game last week. I did a wall sit for 5 minutes. I lost my mind. I could never do more than a minute without my legs shaking. All of a sudden, now because I do legs 3 times a week, I was like, oh, I don't really feel anything right now.
See,
kinda...
you know, the thing about working out, sometimes you like the fun stuff is benching. You know,
I fucking hate benching.
Benching, like some of the other, you know, arm, upper body, like that's the fun stuff.
The arms is fun for me.
Yeah, like
and shoulders because I see it right away.
Like you get the mirror right there. You see, like you see it there. You set it.
Like what?
Fun, right? And but
what?
But then you get to the legs and like the running. It's just like, oh my goodness, no.
So I love doing legs. I hate running. Like I love like leg press and the curls and all that stuff and different variations of that. I like doing legs. I fucking hate running. I've never liked running.
Running is tough.
And people are gonna be running from that guy.
I know they will be.
Yeah,
they're gonna run from him. Oof. Cody better start running. You know where he needs to run to? BA Sweeties. And I'll tell you,
salty snack to nurse those wounds, Mr.
Yes,
Rhodes.
he does. Yes, he does. And he needs some good ice cream.
They got 30 different kinds of popcorn. Take your pick.
And to be honest, the way that the storyline is materializing, I think you'll need all 30 flavors on the road to SummerSlam. I think you need all 30 flavors of popcorn. You know, take your pick on the way to SummerSlam. Even get into popcorn ball. Get that. I mean, you're just going to be on top of the world. And I'll tell you what, even if you're like, man, I don't know about this workout. You know, I don't know about going into the gym. You got some, knees, whatever, whatnot. Walk it off in in North America's largest candy store.
And when it comes down to it, too, the candy side of things is pretty, okay, they have all these different things, but if you're basic, you're like, hey, you know what, I just want candy.
Mm-hmm.
180,000 different kinds of candy bars.
Just get it.
At any point.
Yeah, just get it.
Like, it's there. It's all there. And they've been there for, like we said, 3/4 of a century.
Yeah.
74 years, coming up on 75 here soon. I don't know what that technically is called. I know, obviously, silver, gold. I don't know what.
Is that
the platinum anniversary? What is that?
Something.
Is it platinum?
It's not Centennial. That's the
Centennial. That's 100.
That's 100.
Yeah. And bicentennials too.
But right. There's no that. Anywho, and here's the other cool thing. We're middle of summer and we're coming up on Independence Day, July 4th, coming up on that whole week.
The next episode is going to air on Independence Day.
Amazing. So
You got to wear red, white, and blue that day. We have to be patriotic.
I know. I'll try to. But hey, guess what? Monday through Friday, first off, go to the putt-putt at any point in time. But if you go Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., yourself, take the kids, take your friends. I'm sure you're going to have some off time next week. Get that early bird special. Get putt-putt. You could try, there's two 18-hole courses.
Yeah.
That is great for the whole family, so definitely check it out.
There's a high requirement on those, so Double A can only play on one of those courses.
There's the location, BA Sweeties, the address. If you're here in Cleveland, right off of Interstate 480, Ridge Road, make a left on Brook Park Road. You'll see the large lollipops.
Yep, before Pearl. So if you're coming up that way, don't go past Pearl. If you did need to turn back around and get your ass to the lollipops.
You'll see the lollipop. Make that turn into the lollipop.
Don't try and lick that one. Just go in the store and get your own.
And if you're coming from out of town into Cleveland for 4th of July weekend, check it out. Come right off the airport, 480, Ridge Road exit.
We're going to see someone with a ladder trying to lick the lollipop tomorrow.
No!
Kyle said I could. Don't do it.
Kyle and I
do it, but then take a picture and send it to us because I want to see it if we're going to do it.
Tell the Side Hustle podcast sent you the BA Sweeties. In fact,
here's the lollipop sign.
Stop it, Kyle. Here's more from BA Sweeties. Double A Anthony Alford here for Sweeties, a family destination satisfying sweet tooths in Northeast Ohio on Brook Park Road for over 74 years. The largest candy store in North America with 40,000 square feet stacked to the rafters with over $5 million in inventory. Come down to Sweeties today on Brook Park Road at Ridge. Just look for the giant lollipops. Kyle just made a joke. He's like, walk every aisle, BA Sweeties.
That's a
workout.
You'll
get your workout in.
You want your 10,000 steps.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey, reward yourself with all the candy selections you saw there and some in the popcorn and ice cream. Get some putt-putt.
And 200 different kinds of soda, too. Like the good stuff, like the original sugar cane in the glass bottle. So nice, dude.
I talked to Tom last week. I had to get both. I had to get the strawberry sugar cane as well as the original Coke.
You did.
Out of the bottle. Oh, my goodness. It was good. It was good. I almost couldn't do a take of the commercial because I finished the Coke. My goodness. There's the address again, BA Sweeties. Thank you again to Tom and everybody. Proud sponsor of the Side Hustle podcast.
Also providing us with Slothy, who's of course the sponsored mascot of the show too. So appreciate you, buddy.
Amazing stuff.
I know you wanted the hood down. We should probably fix his. Hold on. There we go.
He didn't care.
Well, he was talking shit earlier. I want to make sure he's good. There we go.
All right. So there's the new, the upgraded version of the Bloodline, which I will say now with Jacob being involved, I don't think it's anymore. You could call it the bootleg Bloodline anymore. I mean, I think this now has serious firepower with him in it.
I was concerned with Tongaloa just because of his history in WWE too, and not really somebody I consider to be that much of a. We know who the Jimmy Uso of this group is.
Yeah.
And it's him.
Pretty clear.
Yeah. Tama Tonga's just nuts. But Jacob Fatu, who we mentioned, issues getting into Canada. He does have a charge on his record.
Yeah, he does.
He has.
Bro, look at him, man. I mean, you don't even want to walk by him, man. That's just
Oh my God.
That's that dude.
Yeah, armed robbery, by the way. That's the. He did a thing. So I mean, that's why there was a lot of talk. Like, hey, is he ever going to be able to get into DUIs or one thing, failing, drug
right? Remember,
tests.
Jimmy Uso had the history with the DUI.
Yeah.
That's why he couldn't get into Canada for a hot minute.
But this was a whole different ballgame. That's like a felony. So that's gonna.
So Jacob apparently has been involved or has been signed, I believe, with WWE according to
for a little while
reports. I guess since WrestleMania, and they've been finding a way to try to get him in. They knew when they was going to get him in storyline-wise. I think it was perfect. Now you're getting to the point where this is what we're talking about here, late June into July, we're going to start cooking now. Money in the Bank, and then on the road to SummerSlam right here in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Perfect time. The Bloodline kind of chilled out for a little bit. Now it's really picking up. But I'll say this, though. The rumor main event, the main event for SummerSlam right now, the rumor is Cody versus Solo. And I guess for me, I've been, on one hand, since Solo has emerged as the leader of this bloodline, I wanna like it.
He's doing well.
I wanna like it. There's something. It feels like there's something missing.
It's Roman.
Yeah.
I think Roman will eventually be the one to have him go over and have him be elevated. We just have to get there.
Yeah.
So just wait. At SummerSlam in Cleveland, Roman will be there. I thought it was kind of strange initially too when Solo brought up like, "Hey, Roman's not coming back." Okay, that's progression in the story.
Mm-hmm.
Before it was he's just talking to me. I'm relaying orders.
And that's
to
the main
him.
selling point of SmackDown this week, by the way, that Roman is not coming back, and Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
And kudos to Paul Heyman, who has sold the living what.
It was
out of this
true.
Story.
He had said this all throughout the run to WrestleMania. Like he's tied to Roman. That's it. Paul.
Paul Heyman. Okay.
He talked about it constantly. In his Hall of Fame speech, he talked about it. In interviews, he talked about it. When Roman Reigns no longer does this, neither does Paul Heyman.
Mm.
So when Solo tells him that, it is like what am I doing here? He's my horse.
But the whole theme of the story, which I like, the whole theme, maybe Paul wanted to be out, but he couldn't get out. His meal ticket, his escape ticket was CM Punk.
And Punk basically got a baseball bat from Cody Rhodes, and there goes that plan.
Yep.
Which you could still happen. But probably
still
not.
happen.
But I mean,
then he's dealing with Drew McIntyre. So like, even though that was the meal ticket, even though security. Think about this. Paul Heyman said, "Hey, CM Punk, please get me out of this. Get me out of this. You need to leave Chicago right now before the bloodline kills you."
Because this security is not for them; it's for like people like the Wyatts.
The security was there for the Wyatts.
Yeah.
And then Drew McIntyre, who supposedly quit, shows up with one of the coolest shots you'll see. They're doing the interview, Caleb Braxton, they're doing the interview, garage goes up, and you just see Drew looking at CM Punk's soulless body. I mean, this is one of the coolest things. And I don't even know if we have time on our show today to talk about Punk and McIntyre, because all of these things are tied in together. And I think ultimately that's been the beauty. That's why WWE 2024 has been cooking under Triple H overall.
I give them a lot of credit too, because it was a lot of teases. Like, are the Wyatts going to show up? That kind of thing. And that was one of the instances where people thought, oh, maybe it's them. And it wasn't. So that was pretty cool. But I mean, to get back to this really quick too, before we kind of move on, Double A, I will say this is probably the second best debut for a Samoan wrestler in the history of wrestling. Roman had the first because he was with the Shield. That debut was stupid. It was unbelievable.
With the Shield,
it's
Survivor
a caveat.
Series 2012.
It's a caveat because it was three guys who ended up all being world champions and went crazy. Next up, that one. Name another time where a guy debuted and on his first night took out all three of prime contenders, one of the best of all time in Randy Orton. Some would argue maybe he is the best pure wrestler of all time because how easy he just gets it. Kevin Owens, who's been there for over a decade and is considered one of the better workers in the entire industry.
Yeah.
And then the current champion, who's the most over babyface in the company, a la Sans, almost Jey Uso, but still.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Cody is Cody.
And he wrecked them. He wrecked them.
So you say Rocky Maivia is not up there now?
Terrible debut. One of the
Survivor Series comes out.
He's Mount Rushmore.
Yay!
He's Mount Rushmore, but his debut sucked. Almost as much as us
He'll be
Sans.
the first to tell you that his debut sucked.
Yeah.
He'll be the first. But
damn.
Storyline.
Sweet moment of the freaking week. Right there.
Sweet moment of the week brought to you by BA Sweeties, the debut. Second week in a row that a debut is the Sweeties moment of the week. Now, at some point, they're going to run out of debuts, and we're going to have to.
Maybe, I don't know.
Who knows?
How many Samoans do they have in that family? Let's keep count.
That is true.
Oh, God.
Now,
this is the part of the show that I normally don't like. We have to talk about something else.
Let me just say this.
I'm not happy about this. Like, I don't think it's not like a thing where it's like, I can't wait for them to fail.
Well, let me just say this, okay? Because I'm in for the excuses. I'm in for it. Not a lot of you watch Monday Night Raw. I understand that. I get it. Stanley Cup, Game 7. Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid. No little hockey. Connor McDavid. Almost came back, 3-0 deficit. And then College World Series. Tennessee beating Texas A&M. Their coach, A&M's coach, said, "Don't ask me about another job." That's very, very, very insensitive of you to ask me about another job, and then immediately take the other job the next day. So I get. Also track and field Olympic trials. That's up my alley. So you had that going on too. I get it. I get it. Not many of you watch Monday Night Raw. I understand. Wait. Monday Night Raw had its best rating in the 18 to 49 demographic since WrestleMania against all of that competition.
What's your excuse? No Big Bang Theory leading up to your show? I'm not happy about this. It's not something I've been like waiting on and being like super excited about. There are people that have commented. Actually, there's one person on TikTok who used to produce Ohio Valley Wrestling that called us out a little bit. Suplex Wrestling is the name of the.
Okay.
He's got almost 10,000 followers. Love a lot of his takes. He's super positive. A lot of that stuff too. I don't hate AEW. I don't have a problem with the promotion as far as the talent that worked there, that kind of stuff. I do have a problem with the booker. Everyone has a problem with the booker who doesn't currently get paid by Tony Khan. Because they're getting paid by Tony Khan. And when they stop getting paid by Tony Khan, they come out and talk about how much they didn't like working for Tony Khan. Nice guy, bad booker. Nice guy, bad booker. It's possible to be both. That's the result you see with that. NXT, the developmental show that they were priding themselves on kicking the crap out of, right, when they were barely beating them by 100,000 viewers per week.
Sent them off of Wednesday nights, by the
Yeah,
way.
moved them to Tuesdays, right? Kicked their ass. 225,000 more average viewers. AEW Dynamite's lowest hour was in the low 400,000s. That's approaching Collision numbers. Scary. No competition.
And I've heard
MJF's back.
They give you excuses week in and week out. They give you
bullshit.
They give you excuses. You want to know a good one? So you mentioned the Big Bang Theory. Kendrick Lamar had a concert on Amazon last Wednesday. He roasted Drake for like 9 straight minutes.
He did like the song 5 times.
Damn.
But
probably a minor.
So we'll see what happens after this week. If it happens again, if we see these numbers again, I imagine it will close a little bit. But
I didn't think it would be this low.
Nobody thought this was going to be
I didn't think it would be this low. I thought NXT, because here's the thing. This is the second week in a row that NXT beat Dynamite. Now, out of fairness,
so many Kendrick Lamar fans watch AEW apparently.
Apparently, hey, they better, if that's true, they better get Kendrick on Dynamite. Anyway, yeah. If that's true. I was just saying this though. I think it was interesting. We didn't think the numbers would be this low. Oh, and NXT beat Dynamite 2 weeks ago.
The week before as well.
And we did not acknowledge it because out of fairness, Dynamite went up against the NBA Finals.
Oh, it was also just 1 week.
What we also didn't mention, out of fairness, that the week before on Raw, when they went up against Game 5, the series clincher, the championship clincher of the NBA Finals, Raw had its best ratings since WrestleMania, which was topped this past week.
So the other thing he brought up too when he was talking about my critique of AEW was, do you even know how television ratings are gathered? I said, no, I don't.
This is what he said?
This is what, because he worked for Ohio Valley.
Gotcha,
He's been a TV producer, all that stuff. And I said, no, but I know what stations look at. I know what they're looking for. They want people to view. They want views on social media, TikTok, YouTube, shit like that. They're not getting it. They're not getting it.
Did he offer the...
No, of course not.
Oh, I thought he had it.
He always ends his TikToks with say something positive, live in a positive. Like, well, listen, I like his content. I do.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of times where he brings a lot of sense to a lot of things. But at the same point, I didn't DM you. I didn't message any of your stuff. I'm a voyeur when it comes to watching his stuff. He commented on ours. He went out of his way to do it. And when you come at us, Double A knows this with me, I don't hold back. So
if you do come at us, you best not miss. I will say that. Do not miss.
I'm not saying you missed. I mean, it's all points. They're all points, and everyone has their own opinion, right?
I'll answer that question, though, about the TV ratings.
Sure.
I will answer it, though.
You know maybe a little more about it than I do.
Probably. I'll answer it. Do people stick around during commercials?
That's why they always break down quarter by quarter, too.
Is that quarter hour good enough to keep you in line? When they go to picture-in-picture, the job of we joke about it, but the job of picture-in-picture is to stay through it so that way they come back. Now, doing picture-in-picture itself is dangerous because advertisers are not buying more than what they could. It's not a full screen. They're not buying. It's one thing if it's ESPN and they have the bottom line going.
Yeah. But
ESPN is ESPN. They've earned the right. Hey, if you want to advertise at ESPN, this is the amount of money you're gonna spend. Bottom line's gonna be there, but most people will pay attention. When you go picture in picture, you're already telling the audience, don't really pay attention to our spots. We got action in the corner of the screen.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, the fact that you have to do picture-in-picture in the first place, and WWE at some points had to do it too. WWE at times go commercial-free on Raw for the first hour, but the whole point is so that way when you have full commercials, people watch, they stick through, they don't change the channel, or you're still running, you might go to a second screen, but you're still there, and they stick through.
And here's a point.
They're not growing the audience throughout the show.
They're not growing the audience, period. And there's physical proof with that, with the ratings dropping, with the views on social media dropping. They don't have any of these clips that are going viral anymore. There's nothing to hang their hat on right now other than, oh, yeah, we're still in the top 10 on Wednesday nights. Overall,
yeah, and the social media.
What the fuck's on Wednesday?
And that's a separate metric.
On a normal Wednesday, what is on that's so pressing and important? Maybe you get lucky and there's a sports game. NFL doesn't play on Wednesdays. That's like the only day they don't play fucking NFL at this point, which is shocking.
Wait till Christmas.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, there you go. Spoke too soon, but like this
on Netflix,
and you're seeing other companies do this thing. And that's why I said TNA is coming up on them.
Well,
if they get a deal with some sort of national television product, TNA's product right now is better than AEW.
Well, and Kyle, I know you've been hard on AEW. I've tried to keep it a little classy, but I'm even getting sick and tired of the excuses. I mean, what's it going to be? What's it going to be? You know, we release this on Thursday morning. What's it going to be when AEW ratings come out and they either came close or didn't beat NXT this week?
The only way
what's going to be the excuse this week?
No, the only way it's going to be where this whole point is null and void is if the ratings flip. Or if they get over 750,000 average again, and it was like that one little blip. But this has been multiple weeks now where we've seen this trend, and they're going the wrong way.
I just can't wait for the new excuse. Well, it was the night before the Trump-Biden presidential debate. People had to get settled in before the debate. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
You say I'm hard in AEW. I have no problem with pretty much most of the talent there. I have no problem with the producers there. The actual television quality of like the quality of the product as far as like production, that kind of thing, is not bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's a national company. Of course it's going to be good. They pay. I have a problem with the booker. With the guy who's living out his wrestling dream fantasy.
For the sickos. That's what he say. That's what he say. He books for the sickos. And what we found out this past week apparently, if the number's that small, that means that Big Bang Theory lead-in that they didn't have this past week, that means there are less sickos than even I gave credit to.
The hardcore wrestling fan it's not very big anymore. Like, you have to cater to the casual fan. You have to give them reasons to tune in so they can become a regular fan. You're not giving anyone any reason. There's not a lot of explanation about what's going on. You know, it got to the point where we actually enjoy wrestling. We can't watch the product.
I know.
Unless it's a pay-per-view, then you give us 15 matches, and they're all dream matches, and of course it's good talent in the ring, and they're not telling a story, an overarching story. They're telling a story in the match because they're good.
That's the thing.
But that's it. We don't get anything after that. It's, okay, when's the next round of dream matches going to show up? We have no reason to do it except because they're two really good wrestlers.
That's the thing. It's almost like AEW would be a better standing if they just did pay-per-view. With the roster they have, if they just did pay-per-view,
they need a streaming deal.
And they just do, like,
if you're going to do it, lean into it. Like, go rated R at that point. If you really want to be different, because WWE's about to go there with Netflix. Like, they're pretty adamant about switching some things up, and we're going to see some Attitude Era Plus stuff probably on Netflix now. So this is one of those things where it's like, now what is your thing? Because they're kind of going alternate to the PG thing. It's everyone's argument, oh, PG, those little kids and all that stuff. It's like, yeah, and you're the 35-year-old in your mom's basement who's bitching about the kids liking wrestling. It's like, they don't give a fuck about you. No offense, but they're not trying to build you. They want to build generations. That's why WWE's been around for 50-plus years. It's because they have built off of the kids and the younger people. The people that watched Hulk Hogan in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, their kids got into it in the 90s that watched Stone Cold and The Rock and all these guys. Now, the kids that are watching the Bloodline and they're watching all this different stuff and Cody Rhodes and all these people. And then the women's side, too. Holy shit. The women's side of things, Rhea Ripley and the Four Horsewomen and all that stuff. You know, minus Sasha because she's doing bad work right now in AEW, but that's beside the point. Like, it's... I'll call a spade at that point.
That's true.
She can't cut a promo anymore. She's not being managed properly. It's what it is. What it is.
It is what it is.
She's got a lot of talent, but again, it's where she's at. Product of the system.
They said, by the way, about Mercedes when she was at the Celtics championship, that was the first time in a long time she's experienced a live crowd. Full house.
If you take that crowd and divide it by 5. That's the month.
That's
the monthly total for Dynamite.
That's 5 Dynamite shows.
It's in the actual. Look up the tickets when you're looking for Dynamite. They're going into arenas that hold 10, 12, 14, 20,000 people. They're selling 2,500 tickets. They're only allowing space for 3,600 people because they can't sell fucking tickets to the show. What do you mean? What does it matter if I know what the fucking how the TV ratings are built? No one's going. No one is going to the... What more proof do you need the product is not good right now? Not the talent's fault. It's the guy who's just designing the entire product. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. And it's fine that he doesn't. He doesn't want any help. He doesn't.
What we have not seen to this point...
Why is this so hard to It's not me taking a shot. It's right in front of us.
The problem... You're 100% right. The problem is that the people who need to change refuse to change. The people who need to change. The sickos and Tony Khan himself, they're the ones who need to change. And they're going to, oh, you're beating up on my little company. You're beating up on our show. Oh, they tell stories. Did you see Will Ospreay? They tell stories. You did tell stories. Well, here's the next step. Hold up. Here's the next step. The stories have to be good. You can't just tell stories.
Well, but it's picking a little brother anymore. It doesn't know. It doesn't do it.
You can't just have Dr. Seuss green eggs and ham and then have one page full of green eggs and not tell a story. Like, it has to be, it can't just be open up the book in a land before time, the end. Like, you can't just do that. It has to be something that makes sense, and it has to be good.
Yeah.
And you have to deliver the goods. When you have the match of the year, Will Ospreay and Daniel Bryan Danielson, whatever.
His new name in WWE. Daniel Bryanson.
Dragon, when you have the match of the year candidate and they go all out, I don't know. It might be a good thing to follow up with that story instead of just moving them on to different stories.
Oh, don't worry. They'll probably fight it all in. And if it's not MJF and Will Ospreay, it'll be Danielson and Ospreay. I mean, like, it's...
Anywho, I want to give props to NXT because NXT,
they've been doing well.
You know, they understand this. They understand. And again, as I mentioned on the show last week, there's only so much wrestling to go around. I've actively avoided NXT on Tuesdays, but I just happened to flip over last week and like thoroughly watch it from start to finish. Like, oh my goodness, this is a good show.
I would argue their bump in viewers is coming from a TNA audience that's starving for TNA to be on some sort of television network.
Could be. But
Like
but I'll give
TV.
credit. I'll give credit where credit's due. Again, Trick Williams, he's doing his thing right now.
Roxanne's doing great too.
She's doing great.
Yeah.
And they have flaws too. I'm sorry.
No company's perfect.
Booker T on commentary for 2 hours is like, but there are moments where he's great. There are moments.
I like it,
and it's just that.
Oh yeah, man. It's Trick.
And like being a horn dog over women, even though he's married. But other than that,
Sean Milken has slapped the fuck out of you, bro.
Man, bro, what are you doing? But
check yourself.
But this is what happened. NXT, with television ratings, they're following through. That parking lot has a reputation. Has a reputation.
Get one of those bird scooters and just scoot on through that bitch because you don't want to be caught there.
Yeah, there's a particular question I'm going to give you during rapid fire where it's going to be put to the test. But that parking lot has a reputation. The whole show, it's just moving, and it's somebody like me who's just trying to jump in and is getting started with NXT. I can follow along with the storylines a little bit. Okay, this Ethan Page guy, I can't stand him
on AEW,
but
he's doing work. He was a star on AEW. He was one of the original guys that was featured, and right now he's fighting for the NXT championship. He's already had a championship match and looked pretty good. Now he's got another championship match coming up. I mean, like, it's...
And they produce their show from a TV studio.
The only time they go out is for their pay-per-views or PLEs, whatever you want to call them. That's when they go to certain cities, maybe that WWE's already in, or they did the Las Vegas thing earlier this month. I mean, dude, I'm tired of the little brother thing. I'm tired of don't pick on our company. You know, you wanted to be competition at WWE, so you entered this arena. It's not our fault you got your head chopped off. Like, you entered the mausoleum. You entered into the Coliseum. You're in here now. Yeah, this is the Roman Empire, no pun intended, but you came in here and you were ready to go. You wanted a duel, and you got fucked up.
And guess what? Now we have not seen a number 2 company. You know, like WCW was the one that was able to overtake WWE, but they responded. We have not seen a number 2 company in North American professional wrestling that has been able to withstand getting hit in the mouth. You know, this is AEW's opportunity, like, let's go do something with this.
Well, and again,
this should
people,
be, if anything, if you didn't believe anybody before, if you didn't believe that, everybody on the outside is just talking like how we're doing the best job we can. If this number doesn't tell you, you need to be better. And all of wrestling and wrestling fans will benefit. If this number doesn't tell you, we need to actually deliver on quality storytelling. We need to actually deliver on good shows. And there's some people who said last week's show was fine. Well, guess what? I didn't see it.
Apparently no one else did either.
I didn't see it. I didn't watch it. I mean, you got to give people a reason to watch these shows week in and week out. You have to. And guess what? You have to grow your audience. Because if you just focus on the sickos, 1 or 2 sickos a week are going to leave you anyway. Right? 1 or 2 sickos are going to be a little busy week in and week out. And then they may not come back. They may see Jacob Fatu on SmackDown doing top rope stuff and then cutting promos and say, I like that guy. And then they're gone.
One of the arguments that I get, but also feel like it's kind of just overused is that, the reason why WWE is doing so well right now is because AEW pushed them. You're partially correct, at least in the beginning. But there was, again, time with WWE where it's like, no, their booking was still shit, and they're still outdrawing AEW pretty handily. Because again, they've been around for a longer period.
You know what? Kyle, I'm sick of hearing that too because
it's not true
it's
anymore.
That's come and gone.
Yeah, that was initially it was a push.
At some point,
like 2020.
At some point, that excuse has to stop.
It's not an excuse anymore.
That excuse, WrestleMania was 3 months ago. 3 months ago, WrestleMania. Triple H took over the company practically a year ago. Like, that excuse is gone. That was, CM Punk has not been with AEW in what, 9 months? 10 months?
Coming up, I think August is the year, yeah.
Yeah, basically a year. That excuse is gone. And this is not, that number, that 500,000 number, is not just AEW was, that's not, no. This is a drop, boom, drop.
It's been a static trend where you've seen this kind of
just... And it's been that way the entire year.
A couple years now.
A couple of years has been that way.
Honestly.
And attendance has dropped. On the final episode of Who Killed WCW, the documentary, WCW Uncensored, they was talking about Uncensored. They ran the exact same main event in their March pay-per-view in 99 and 2000. Hogan versus Flair. Right. Gotta see what happened.
Gotta love it.
Right. They mentioned the pay-per-view buy rates in 99 for that pay-per-view was 180,000-ish. They lost 80% of their buy rate by the next year. That's how quickly you can lose momentum. And it was not that long ago we were going to sold out AEW Dynamites.
Ugh.
It was not that long ago.
It's been a minute.
But time passes, and after a while, you look, it's been 18 months.
I'm tired of it. Like, I'm tired of getting chastised, too, for being honest. And again, there are opinions. You could say you like the wrestling, you hate the wrestling, you like whatever. But it's not just me saying this. It's not just some random guy in Northeast Ohio on a podcast talking about AEW. It's people that are in the industry.
Yeah.
That not only have been around it for decades, but have worked in the company. Who have worked directly for Tony Khan.
And Kyle, here's the thing. Because we do the Let's Fix It series, right? We do it once a month. We do the Let's Fix It. You go back to the Let's Fix It for the AEW show. They have not done anything that we have suggested. Nothing over the last month.
I know Tony watches our show religiously, so I'm sure you would.
Somebody on staff needs to send that over their way. They have not done a thing. Meanwhile, we did the Karrion Kross show last week. And I'm not saying everything completely turned around with Karrion Kross, but wait a minute. Did I see some direction this past Monday? Did I see this? Did I see them acknowledge? Wait a minute. Karrion Kross has defeated 7 former world champions. Maybe this Karrion Kross is onto something. There's direction. There's something.
That's a general magnum opus of WWE compared to AEW. Direction or something. They have it. AEW doesn't. AEW is trying to get the pay-per-view to have dream matches, where WWE is building years-long stories that attract new viewers and build their audience, not only on just viewership from TV, but on social media and on everything else involved too. And their sponsorships are going up. They're making a shit ton more money now. They're attracting more stars every time they go into professional athletes, whoever, people that are famous from the area. They want to go to the show. Tyrese Halliburton was at Monday night on Raw. Yeah, he's FaceTime with Logan fucking Paul.
That was crazy.
I mean, you're seeing this kind of stuff, and you're like, what, WWE's cool. AEW, it's there.
And by the way, I'm not going to create revisionist history on Michael Cole. I think there was a period where Michael Cole was pretty annoying, and we've all attributed it to Vince being in his ear.
It's hard to do your job when he's a professional, and we know, too, because we have the broadcasting background. If someone's in your ear constantly, you do the best you can, but it's tough.
It's very tough. But the fact that Michael Cole was able to do play-by-play and do it well solo for 2 hours.
What the fuck happened with Pat? Did he explain what happened?
He did.
His kid or something, or was it?
Father-in-law passed.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Father-in-law. So he was back on McAfee on his show.
Yeah.
Tuesday. So.
Well, sorry, Pat. I'm sorry for your loss with the family, and I know it's.
So that's according to Pat McAfee. that he lost his father-in-law. Now, if you listen to Dave Meltzer, it was storyline related. So there you go. There's your sources.
Listen. I've talked about Dave before. If he did that, if he said that, I'd want to choke him out the next time I see him. Like if we go to WrestleCon, if we go to SummerSlam, and he managed to drag his Krampus ass over there, I would choke him the fuck out. It's like, dude.
Let's make sure
like,
we get that on tape.
Death in the family.
Yeah,
Death in the family. That's not storyline. That's real fucking life, Dave. Like, I don't think he actually said that. I think you're fucking with me. I hope you're fucking with me.
I'll play the audio.
No, he didn't.
Him and Brian Alvarez thought it was storyline related.
Thought it was until Pat addressed it, or they?
No, I think it was. I'm not sure if it was like before or not, but the whole point is like they have, there's.
Pete, one shot on me.
Supposedly have sources. And
one shot on me. You insensitive fucking pricks. Like, honestly. I know we're very hypersensitive nowadays in this culture, in this world we live in. That's fucked up. Like, tell them, hey, best wishes to your family, move the fuck on to something else. Talk about AEW for 4.5 hours on your stupid wrestling blog. Who gives a shit? Like, dude, not everything's a fucking story. And I know you're dying to talk about stories because you have none in fucking AEW, but you need to chill out. Especially with Pat, because Pat's a cool fucking dude. He doesn't deserve that shit. You stupid mother father. What next?
By the way, if you want to get a subscription to the Wrestling Observer,
I'm going to hit him with my chunkla.
They have raised their prices. It's now $15.99.
They get $15.99 below my... Fuck that shit. I'm not doing... No.
$15.99.
That's how much you can get for a hooker at the Red Stop Inn down the street. I'm not doing that.
Well, hopefully Uncle Howdy's able to get
one. Make a choice. You want to read a stupid Wrestling Observer or you want to get your dick wet? Either way, you're gonna... Either way, you're gonna get venereal disease. Do you want to have fun or do you want to be miserable and want to stab your eyes out afterwards too?
You know, that happened on The Boys this past week on Prime Video. That was crazy. By the way,
sorry, I should have told the sloth to color his ears.
The ladder matches, the Money in the Bank matches, are actually sponsored by The Boys on Prime Video.
Oh,
Great
they are?
show. Yeah, they are. Not even joking.
Fucking A, dude.
Great show, by the way. Great show. Drew McIntyre is a fan of that show.
I haven't watched it.
Oh, it's a great show.
I was confused because it's like a superhero show, but it's not really like a title of a superhero show, I would expect. Or
that's a good way to put it. But Drew McIntyre is a fan of the show. After he demolished CM Punk last Friday, he posted a photo of Homelander, who's like the main Captain America superhero of the show, who's really, really just a menace. He killed everyone.
He needs a stern talking to?
He gave a stern talking to the people who, I guess, birthed him, because he's not a human.
Yeah. He
was developed in a lab, and,
Yeah. Apparently.
You got Pete, you watched the show?
Because I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Did you see the last episode?
Stop spoiling it.
No.
Who killed WCW? Spoiling that for people who haven't watched it. Now you're going to spoil the boys.
I was just saying this. Drew McIntyre is a big fan of the show, and Homelander basically killed everyone in that hospital, in that lab.
Did you see that meme? I think maybe you sent it to me or I saw it. What was him as CM Punk? They morphed McIntyre's face.
Yeah.
He's like, whoever did this is sick.
Yeah. Oh man,
we got to talk about
this. This was sick, and I know you got good thoughts about what you kind of see here. First off, I believe, because here's the cool thing too, relating to Pat McAfee. His show has actually been intertwined with the storyline, which is nuts.
Yeah.
So Nikki Cross comes out. I'm just recapping this in case you missed Monday Night Raw. College World Series, track and field, Stanley Cup Finals, Game 7, and everything. Home shopping network deal. I understand. A lot happening.
Oh, we're still doing that. All right. You did say you were going to lay it on all episodes, so yeah.
But Nikki Cross comes out. The whole Chad Gable thing, which we don't have time to get into, but that part of it was great. Nikki Cross comes out.
Can I say one thing, too, with him before we...
Go ahead.
So with Chad, The conversation with Maxine.
Oh, tell us about it. What do you think?
So I don't know if you saw that part on Hulu when he was backstage.
Oh, I have Sling Blue.
That's right. So you can see it now. Yeah. Fuck Hulu. So you, I shouldn't say that.
Don't say.
We're trying here.
He was a little bit more contained last week.
No.
Go ahead.
I'm
man.
back in a t-shirt now. It's all fucking bets are off.
Go ahead. Man. That's what happens when you put AEW in the rundown.
Oh my god, I see it. I know it's gonna be a rough week. But
Chad Gable and Maxine.
she talked about how Otis considered him like an older brother.
Mm-hmm.
Ring a bell? That's the reason why Bo is attacking him. Because Bray, older brother, looked up to him, idolized him. He's seeing now how Chad has treated Otis. He stopped saying thank you, right? That was the thing.
Say thank you.
Now he says do it. He's aggressive. He's mean. And Bo never experienced that, and he can't believe that someone that would consider like Otis, like that's his big brother, would treat him like that. So they're not going to stand for it, and they're going to kill Chad Gable because of it.
Not on the watch of the Creed brothers.
This is another. I told you about this, and I know I think you still probably have high hopes for Otis. The story's always been about Chad because it's going to siphon him into the main event with working with the Creeds, the new Alpha Academy. The second coming of like the Angle team, that kind of stuff, or whatever they were called. I forget now.
Team Angle,
yeah. Fucking,
Sheldon Benjamin, and
Charlie Haas.
Yeah.
And obviously Julius Creed is the Sheldon Benjamin of the group because he's just stupid athletic and 6'5".
We haven't seen the Creed brothers wrestle in a long time.
It's been a minute, but don't worry, they'll get back to it. But I mean, that was like holy shit. That's fucking. You talk about cinema and storytelling.
Well, like
that
I said,
line. As soon as I heard that, I was like.
Well,
wow, they really fucking tied that in, didn't they?
And again, what we're seeing here, and we're going to get to this here in like 20 seconds. What you're seeing here with these shows, with Raw and SmackDown, is within the 3-hour broadcast, there's about 10 stories that are like individual stories, but somehow, some way, they all intertwine within a single episode. Just like that, within a single episode.
Spider-Man.
It's
webbing it all together.
It's crazy.
Pete like that. He's a big Spider-Man guy. He loves Tom Holland. He has free posters on his wall.
So, Nikki Cross delivers this package that was addressed to Pat McAfee, so he couldn't make the show, but it was addressed to Pat McAfee, gave it to Michael Cole, turned out to be a VHS tape.
Can we just, kill the kayfabe for a second? They obviously didn't play a VHS back there. I just want to point that out. They Triple H found that in his closet. He's like, that's a good fucking idea. And he wrote "Play Me" on it, and they ran over and gave it to Nikki. Use this.
I do not remember the video quality of The Lion King being that bad. Look, man. Hey.
I don't mind killing it for this. This is
man.
come on.
Hey, we were around before Disney DVD. Okay, chill.
It is.
All right?
It is 20 motherfucking 24. There is no way they have a VHS up there in that fucking TV truck. I'm sorry.
Man, they shot that VHS, man.
I can't buy a VHS anymore. They just want to give it to me. They're paying me to take it at this point. So, yeah, I don't buy it.
If they wanted to really be something, Nikki should have gave Michael
Betamax.
Betamax tape.
On this
Michael
floppy
Cole
disk.
Oh, God. So, true story. So, last week I forgot the our USB drive.
You did
for the show. I forgot. I forgot.
It's all good. I forgive you.
So Pete gave me his SD card. Thank you, Pete, for that. When I made it back, when I got back home, I had to go to 3 different computers to find a computer in my home that had an SD card slot. If Rebecca's laptop was not there, which she uses to play D&D, if it was not there, last week's show would have not made the air.
Hey, Pete coming in clutch.
Yeah, I don't even know if you guys can hear me. I know you guys can hear me in the studio, but I don't even know if this is going on. My MacBook at work has, like, nothing. It has 2 USB-C connectors on the side of it. There's nothing to it.
Yeah. If you gave me a floppy disk, though, I would not know what to do with it. I will admit that.
Do I put peanut butter on it? What do I do with it?
I remember it was like I think it was like 7th grade or 7th or 8th grade or something. It's like, hey, you got a floppy disk. You need to
Computer class, yeah.
Like,
bring your floppy disk.
What?
I'll show you my floppy disk, Mrs.
Like
Anderson.
The school supply list. Like, my mom didn't know. Nobody knew.
What the fuck is a floppy disk?
Right?
Well, call me because I have a drive.
Yeah.
He gave you the SD card. Of course, he has a drive.
So, do you still have a VCR, Pete? Do you have a working VCR?
There's one in the studio.
Okay, send the next tape to us. We'll play it.
The next one, we'll play it on the show. We'll play it on the show. Don't worry. You might have to wait a few days, but we'll play it on the show.
That's fine. It'll be worth it.
I have a 1/2-inch tape deck in the other room.
Oh, my God.
We're going to cut some tape after this, too.
We're going to cut.
It weighs about 80 pounds.
Oh,
Jesus.
man, we're going to cut tape.
More than my 6-year-old son.
Hey, we'll cut the AEW segment next week. We'll play the tape.
We'll actually cut it. We'll cut it out.
We will actually physically
of the fucking
cut
show.
the tape.
Give me some scissors.
So the address was for Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
Gave it to Michael Cole, and Cole was like, hey, figure it out in the back. What you get?
Minions.
Yeah.
Minions, come take my tape.
And guess what? People stuck around. They waited after Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins, or Damian Priest and Seth Rollins, excuse me.
Yeah.
Waited for great promo there as well. Great stipulation there. All right, we converted the tape. Let's play it.
We converted the tape.
And we got this. We have Uncle Howdy and Bo Dallas. And
now, so we don't know. One point that Bully Ray made, Bubba Ray Dudley, whatever, is that wasn't Bo Dallas talking. That was Taylor Rotunda. Bo Dallas never talked like that. Bo Dallas was the inspirational guy. He was the fucking B team, whatever it was, with Curtis Axel. He was never that. I still say he needs to be Bo Wyatt. Especially if they're being called the Wyatts now. I mean, like, he needs... Take it. Take the fucking name. Because that is so cool.
Well, the angle itself...
But I'm glad they did this.
Yeah, the angle itself...
2 different people. Right? I talked about it last week. I want to see split personality Bo. I want to see Uncle Howdy not be the guy who always talks. I want it to be Bo.
So was Bo not out there last week on stage, dude? Or was Bo out there on stage as? Because if I guess what I'm asking, if you're saying it's a split personality, meaning that they're both the same person.
Yes.
Okay.
Just like how Bray was the Fiend, and they could do split screen where they could show them both on camera at the same time. That's not that hard. But this is tying to Bray as well.
Absolutely.
Because Bray had the personality of the Fiend. He had that different...
I'll tell you the one thing that's really, really impressive. They will go out of their way to address criticisms and not, like, insult your intelligence.
Don't you think you're tarnishing your brother's name by doing this? And then he went on... That's where he just got real emotional about it. He's like, he's everything I ever wanted to be. And I worked so hard my entire career to finally get next to him. And we had it. And then it got taken away from me. Nobody on the planet knows how I feel. They wanted to forget us. And then the line that stuck with me was at the end because it gave me chills. Because I thought I saw Bray. We made them remember. The way he said it, the way his head was down, just the you talk about facials with Otis, for fuck's sake, but like this dude, like, he's been waiting for a while for this opportunity, and man, it sucks how this came about. Obviously, I think he much rather would have had this with Bray by his side.
Yeah, you talk about the opportunity.
But I mean, like, this is one of those things where, man, listen, you got dealt a terrible hand. Like, to have your brother get gone at 36, not even like, oh, he was 75 and he lived, like, no, he was 36 years old with kids and the wife and all that stuff, and like,
nobody knows the pain that I'm feeling nobody on this planet knows the pain that I'm feeling.
He was literally, that was someone who was in his entire life.
You know what?
Like,
there are times when cinema is so good where you feel like you're alone with just that person.
it takes a certain person to be able to draw that out of you too.
Yeah.
To draw that feeling to where holy like,
where
oh my God.
You honestly forget about everything else. And it's just you watching, it felt like I was in that room. And it was just me, and it was just Uncle Howdy sitting here, Bo Dallas is sitting here, and I'm in the room, and it's uncomfortable being in the room.
Yeah, that was
but
the point.
I have to listen to everything.
Yeah.
And watch everything.
That was the entire point of this, was to get the uncomfortable side of this story out. Like, put it out there right now. Don't you feel like you're exploiting Bray? That kind of thing, right? Get it out there. Because that was a lot of people's like, are they going to mess it up? How's this going to go? He went right to it.
And now you establish credibility with the story.
And again, another point that Bubba Ray Dudley made too was like, hey, Taylor Rotunda did more in 5 minutes than Bo Dallas did in his entire career.
Yeah.
As far as getting him over and getting people to, because it was real. If you have that genuine, this is who I am, this is why I'm here, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, and this is a very extreme circumstance where it actually is very true, all of this, it's going to draw people in, just like you said. 100%. Like, that was honestly one of the best promos, honestly, I think I've ever seen.
I'll put it up there if we did a contenders list for like candidate list for like promo of the year. I'll put it up there.
Well, next March we'll do like a bracket.
Okay. Okay. But here's the thing now. Now we got to, now I can't wait. If Nikki Cross is going to be in that seat next week or another member who we may not know.
That's honestly, that's how they could do this and kind of draw it out a little bit. They could have talks with and I'm looking forward if they do that to have Dexter talk, because the dude has never fucking talked. Like,
Will he talk?
That's the whole. Yeah, I mean, is he going to nod? Is he going to nod?
Yeah. Is he going to get? How is Uncle Howdy going to break him open? Eric Rowan, how about that story?
Oh my God!
Talk about with the originals.
Emotion with that too, because he lost
that
both
might
of them.
be that might be next week.
This is honestly, this is a way they can keep them all sheltered too. Mm-hmm. And maybe you obviously have some sort of physical presence at the show. It seems like they're keeping them on Raw. That seems to be the kind of general idea. At least for now, they could try and throw a curveball at some point here. We'll see maybe